I think spite is a perfectly reasonable source of motivation. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Just another struggling writer. The Beleaguered Authors one-stop shop for commiseration and hopefully inspiration. My name is Carrie Scher, and I am just another struggling writer. Well, today I've got a little bit of a different video for you. A continuation of my short-lived, short series, Writing Advice Nobody Asked For. And today I want to talk a little bit about why writers should read books they think they'll hate. Now, we all know that writers should be readers as well, particularly readers of the genre they intend to write for. Being well read in your intended writing genre has a plethora of benefits, from getting to know your audience, understanding genre conventions, learning what is marketable, what is in, the ebbs and flows of publishing trends, as well as just being a great way to improve your craft. And chances are, if you're writing for a specific genre, you probably are already a fan of it. So I don't need to tell you all the great reasons why you should continue reading it. I'm gonna use myself as an example. I write fantasy, and fantasy is my favorite genre to read. So much that I have very little interest in any other genre. So how does that translate to reading books that you don't like? Well, first, let's think about all the reasons why writers should read books that they like. The most obvious being inspiration. When you read a book that you really love, as a writer, you tend to feel inspired, or at least I do. The example I always turn back to is when I read The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin for the first time, and I have said this before and I'll say it again 1,000 times. When I read that book for the first time, I literally could not conceive of a more perfect book, and I actually got really depressed knowing that I would never write a book nearly as good as The Fifth Season. But after I kind of got over that hump, I felt inspired. I felt motivated. I wanted to get back in the lab, so to speak, and work on my projects and hone my craft and get to a place where it was even a fraction as worthy a book as The Fifth Season was. And again, I'll use fantasy as kind of the example. Fantasy is a very broad genre with a lot of subgenres and different tropes and categories that stories can fall into. And when I read books that I'm really enjoying, I think about the world that these books are set in, the magic systems, the character archetypes and their relationships to each other, and how they are not just played straight, but subverted. The genre conventions. I think about all the components that went into the book to make me like it. And then I think about how I can apply it to my own writing. I also think about which writing styles appeal to me, how the author uses language, which tropes they play with, and which expectations they subvert. I think about which authors influenced me the most, and which authors I would most like to be in the conversation with when I am one day published. I think about which titles I want my book to be compared to. And I think about which authors will one day be my peers. Yes, this requires a little bit of delulu, being absolutely convinced that I will one day be in those conversations, but we're writers. If we're not a little bit delusional, then what are we even doing? Reading books we love will also inform us of which tropes we like, which plot structures, which story beats, which character configurations, what kinds of worlds. Again, in fantasy, I find myself reading secondary worlds and thinking, am I going to use epigraphs of in-universe lore? Or am I going to create a brand new calendar? What about a whole new language? And in this way, books that I am enjoying really inspire me to do better and to aspire to those level of books that I love. Now, take everything I just said and flip it. Apply it to books that you hate. What can writers learn from reading books that they really don't like? Am I free? Am I free of you? Usually it's man who's doing this. Reading a book you don't like can be just as instructive as reading books you love. For me, I know that when I'm reading a book that I already know I'm not going to like, I start paying closer attention to what specifically is rubbing me wrong. Is it a particular character trait? Or is it the writing style? Is it a trope? And once I've identified what is bothering me, I start thinking about what would I do if I had this plot and these characters to work with? How would I do it differently? How would I do it better? How would I make it into a story that I would enjoy? When I find a plot plot hole, I start thinking about all of the ways that it might have been filled if I were the author. I identify certain words that give me the ick. Tropes I'm not a huge fan of, and plot structures that I don't think will work for me. And then I apply them to everything I am writing. I am so serious when I say negative book reviews that other people have done have taught me so much about what kind of writer I want to be. I have taken those kinds of reviews and applied it to my own reading experiences so that I read more critically and I'm better at identifying what pitfalls I want to avoid when I am doing my own writing. This also applies to books that might be super popular that you don't understand the hype of. If it's popular, it's resonating for a reason, even if it doesn't resonate with you. So how can you make something like this, but that would appeal to people who have similar tastes to you? One of my big story ideas that I've kicked around over the last couple of years is actually a direct response to the big romantasy genre that has blown up over the last several years. I wanted to do my take on it and make it palatable to people who aren't big romantasy people like myself. It honestly did start out as a portal fae romance. And while it has developed into something a little bit different since that original idea, that was the actual impetus for me getting to work on that story idea. So yes, books that you don't like can also be just as inspiring as books that you love. I think spite is a perfectly reasonable source of motivation. And by the way, this also applies to books you feel kind of neutral to, books you're not really interested in. When you pick up a book and you read the back copy and you're like, I don't know if this is for me, you can still learn a lot from it. Reading any kind of book will help you improve your craft. It'll help you improve your understanding of writing structure and plot development and character arcs. It'll also help you understand the market and what is desirable in publishing. And while you may not be interested in writing to market, it's still useful information to know what is reaching audiences. So that's why I continue to read romantasy and YA and books that I know that I probably won't like, because it's teaching me what I don't want to be as a writer, what stories I don't want to write, while also improving my own understanding of craft and story and character. And I'll be the first to say that if you don't have time to read books you like, much less books that you hate, I get it. I'm with you. Reading can really be a struggle when you're trying to write a book and go to work and take care of your kids if you have them, or your dog or your house or your relationship. If you're not in a position to carve out time to read books you hate on top of everything else, that's fine too. You're not losing anything. But the next time you're in the middle of a book and you're like, ugh, I hate this. This sucks. It's awful. DNFing. It might be a useful exercise to just go ahead and finish it and take notes and really explore the reasons you don't like it and really question what you can apply to your own writing, even if it's just what not to do. And with that, thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it. If you like my content and want to support the channel, please like and subscribe or consider leaving a comment down below. In my next video, I will have a weekly writing vlog for you. I hope you look forward to it, and I will see you then. Bye.